Okay, so what if one of the most incredible structures ever described wasn't just a myth? Today, we are diving headfirst into an ancient architectural mystery. This is a search that's going to take us from sacred text all the way to modern satellite imagery. I mean, for millennia, legends have been telling us about this monumental barrier, right? One built to protect humanity from some kind of unspeakable evil. But here's the kicker. If it was real, where in the world did it go? All right, so our story really gets started in the Quran. It's got all the makings of an epic, a righteous king, a desperate plea for help, and this destructive force, something so terrible it threatened to consume the entire known world. This king, he's known as Dhul-Qarnayn, which actually means the two-horned one. Picture this guy, a just, powerful ruler who traveled literally from one end of the earth to the other. And on this epic journey, he runs into a group of people who are being absolutely terrorized by these destructive tribes. You might have heard of them, Gog and Magog. So to protect these people, he takes on this monumental construction project. He orders his men to stack blocks of iron between two huge mountains until the gap is totally filled. But that's not all. He then heats them up into a fiery blaze and pours molten copper right over the top. The result? A single, seamless, and utterly impassable barrier. A prison, really, designed to hold Gog and Magog until the end of time. You know, for centuries, this wall was purely a matter of faith. People believed it was out there, but no one had seen it. But then, fast forward to the 9th century, and one of the world's most powerful rulers gets this idea stuck in his head. He becomes absolutely obsessed. He had to see it with his own eyes. So the Abbasid Caliph, a guy named Al-Wathiq Billah, has this nightmare, a really terrifying one. He dreams the Great Wall has been breached, and Gog and Magog are just pouring out into the world. He wakes up, deeply disturbed, and decides, you know what? Faith isn't enough. He had to know for sure if that barrier was still standing. And he chose the perfect man for the job, Sallam al-Tarjuman. This guy was a renowned traveler who, get this, reportedly spoke 30 languages. So in 846 AD, Salam sets out from Samarra, that's in modern-day Iraq, on a truly epic journey. We're talking 28 months, thousands of miles, across some of the most treacherous terrain imaginable. Now this is the crucial part. Salam doesn't just come back with some vague rumors or stories. No way! He returns with an incredibly detailed report. He describes seeing a massive iron gate, guards who would strike it with hammers, and hearing these strange loud noises coming from the other side. He even saw a Quranic inscription on the gate and found stuff left over from its construction, things like giant pots and leftover iron bricks. This was an eyewitness account. Some his account, it was a huge deal. It was documented by all the great geographers of his time. But then, for centuries, the trail just went cold. Nothing. So now, let's hit the fast-forward button, jump ahead 1,200 years, and see how this quest gets a new lease on life, all thanks to the tools of the 21st century. I mean, just think about the difference for a second. Salam had camel caravans and had to rely on word-of-mouth directions. Today's explorer, they've got Google Earth, helicopters, and metal detectors. The goal is exactly the same, find the wall, but the methods, wow, they've been completely transformed. And this is where our modern detective comes in. An Egyptian researcher named Tarek Abdo Ismail. He got completely fascinated by this story and basically dedicated himself to picking up Salam's trail centuries later. He started by blending the old with the new, combing through ancient texts while using modern satellite imagery, and it all began with one fundamental question. If this wall is real, who could have actually built it? Well, Ismail's research pointed to a really surprising candidate, Cyrus the Great, the founder of the Persian Empire. And the evidence? It was pretty compelling. For starters, Cyrus is the only known ancient king who was ever depicted wearing a two-horned crown, which, hello, perfectly fits the name Dhul-Qarnayn. On top of that, he was famous for being a just monotheistic ruler, and his huge empire stretched across the exact regions mentioned in all those ancient accounts. So this theory gave Ismail his target. He started cross-referencing ancient maps with Google Earth, and eventually he pinpointed this one remote, very specific location. So what do you do when you think you found a lost wonder of the world on your computer? You go there. And that's exactly what he did. In August 2014, he launched a full-on expedition to see what was actually on the ground. Okay, so the team travels to this incredibly remote, high-altitude pass. We're talking the mountainous border between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. It's a place of just forbidding beauty. They call it the roof of the world. And what they ended up finding there was absolutely stunning. So the big question is, what was waiting for them at the end of this incredible journey? Was it just going to be another frozen mountain pass? Or were they really about to find tangible, physical proof of an ancient legend? Ismail's team ended up building their case on 5 key arguments. It was a mix of everything: geographical analysis, what they could see with their own eyes, and even electronic readings from their gear. And all of it seemed to be pointing to one single incredible conclusion, a conclusion that lined up perfectly with both the Quran and Sallam's report from 1200 years earlier. Now, obviously, they couldn't just start digging up the entire structure, but they could perform a crucial, non-invasive test. And this was so important because, remember, the legend isn't just about any old wall. It's about a wall made of very, very specific materials. So they brought a metal detector with them. They placed it right up against the ice-covered surface, and they got a positive reading. The device detected huge quantities of iron and copper buried beneath the ice, the exact 2 metals the scripture says Dhul-Qarnayn used to forge the barrier. I mean, what are the odds? But wait, there's more. The surface itself? It wasn't a jagged, natural mountain face like you'd expect. No, it was a sheer, perfectly flat, vertical wall of ice stretching from one peak to the other. That kind of unnaturally smooth surface strongly suggests it's covering an equally smooth, man-made structure underneath, which, by the way, is exactly how the Quran describes the wall being built, level between the 2 mountainsides. Okay, so let's just pull all these threads together for a second. We have an ancient sacred text. We have a medieval eyewitness report, and now we have a modern expedition that's come back with some seriously compelling physical evidence. What Tarek Abdo Ismail's expedition did, and they filmed the whole thing, by the way, is present one of the most comprehensive theories for the wall's location, maybe ever. It really seems to connect the dots across 12 centuries of history. But, and it's a big but, without a full-scale excavation, the mystery can't be officially 100% solved. You know, maybe the most fascinating part of this whole legend is its ending. The ancient text itself says the wall isn't permanent. It actually prophesies that one day the barrier will be brought down and whatever it's been holding back will finally be released. And that really just leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? We've just followed the clues of this timeless detective story, all the way from an ancient king to a modern-day researcher. But we're still left with the ultimate question. Is this icebound structure in Kyrgyzstan the long-lost wall of Dhul-Qarnayn, just waiting for its final chapter to be written? Or is the greatest search in history still on?